Welcome to my channel, Most Worth Coins, WC, where history lives in your hands. If you're passionate about rare coins, vintage currency, and the fascinating stories behind them, you're in the right place. Don't forget to watch the full video. Share it with your fellow collectors, like and subscribe to stay updated with more valuable content every week. So without further ado, let's get started. The Elizabeth II DG Reg FD5 New Pence 1968 coin holds a significant and prestigious place in the history of British coinage, not merely as a denomination but as a key marker in the evolution of the United Kingdom's monetary system. The coin was issued as a forerunner to the decimalization of British currency, which officially took place on Decimal Day, the 15th of February 1971. The year 1968 represents the dawn of a new monetary era for the British public, and the 5 new pence coin was among the very first decimal coins introduced into circulation prior to the full implementation of the decimal system. Its issuance was a transitional step intended to prepare the British population for the upcoming replacement of the centuries-old pounds, shillings, and pence system with a simpler decimal structure based on units of 10 and 100. Before this, British currency used a complex system in which 1 pound was equal to 20 shillings, and 1 shilling was equal to 12 pence, meaning 1 pound had 240 pence. The introduction of decimal currency redefined this into a system where 1 pound equals 100. New pence 100. B. The 5 new pence coin was designed to match the value and dimensions of the pre-decimal shilling coin, thereby allowing it to circulate interchangeably with shillings for a time. This practical design choice meant that from 1968 until the final withdrawal of shillings in 1990, both coins were used side by side without confusion, a clever and culturally sensitive approach to reforming such a long-established system. The obverse front side of the 1968 5 new pence coin is a well-known portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the artist Arnold Mack. This was the second definitive coinage portrait used during her reign, introduced in 1968 and used on British coins until 1984. In this depiction, the young queen is shown facing right, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a treasured item in the royal jewel collection, originally given to Queen Mary as a wedding present and later passed down to Elizabeth II. Arnold Machin's portrayal is admired for its grace, youthful refinement, and simple elegance. Around the queen's portrait appears the inscription, Elizabeth Cadua, Diga Reg F, Dev, which stands for Elizabeth II, De Gratia Regina Fidei, Defensor, Latin for Elizabeth II. By the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This inscription reflects the dual spiritual and political authority of the monarch, a customary tradition deeply embedded in British numismatic heritage. The reverse back of the coin, designed by Christopher Ironside, features a crowned thistle, the emblem of Scotland. This beautiful and powerful design is both symbolic and historical. The thistle, a thorny wildflower, has been associated with Scottish pride and resilience for centuries. Legend holds that invading Norse forces were thwarted during a stealth attack when one of their men stepped on a thistle and cried out, alerting the Scots to the danger. The thistle thus became a national emblem. In the 1968 5 new pence design, it is presented with a Tudor-style crown above it, signifying its royal recognition and its place within the United Kingdom. The denomination new pence is boldly written around the top rim, while the number 5 appears below the thistle. The word new was used from 1968 until 1981 to distinguish the decimal coinage from the old pence, before being dropped in favor of simply 5 pence. The coin specifications further reveal its uniqueness. The 1968 5 new pence coin is made of cupra nickel, an alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel, which gives the coin a silver-like appearance and strong durability. The coin has a mass of 5.65 grams, a diameter of 23.59 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.78 millimeters. It has a milled edge, a traditional feature on many British coins that helps prevent clipping, a practice once common in earlier centuries, where small amounts of precious metal were shaved off the edges of coins. The coin's relatively large size and weight, matching that of the shilling, make it feel substantial and solid in hand, which lent it credibility and familiarity when it was first introduced to a public accustomed to coins of value. Being weighty and metallic, mintage of the 1968 5 new pence coin was notably high due to its importance in the transition to decimal currency. Approximately 336 million pieces were struck at the Royal Mint in Trent, Wales. These coins were not legal tender immediately in 1968, but were minted in advance and released to the public in 1968, 1969. As part of the government's preparatory phase, they were used in increasing frequency ahead of Decimal Day, giving the public time to adjust to the new coin and recognize its value alongside the equivalent shilling. The British government also launched widespread educational campaigns, including posters, booklets, and television commercials, to help people understand the upcoming changes, and the 5 new pence coin was central in these efforts. One of the first 2 decimal coins to be introduced alongside the 10 new pence in 1968, the 5p coin is of great historical and numismatic importance. It symbolizes a shift from an imperial past into a more modern, simplified currency system, yet without abandoning the imagery, monarchy, and traditions that define British coin design. Christopher Ironside's thistle design stood strong through 2 decades until 2008, when a new reverse was introduced as part of the Royal Shield redesign by Matthew Dent. This adds further nostalgia and importance to the original 1968 to 2008 reverse designs as collectible classics. Collectors often seek the 1968 5 new pence in various grades, from heavily circulated examples to brilliant uncirculated and proof sets. The proof versions, struck with specially prepared dies and polished blanks, were included in limited edition sets issued by the Royal Mint for collectors and dignitaries. These proof coins are mirror-like and sharply detailed, appealing to serious numismatists and royal enthusiasts alike. The circulation coins, though abundant, still carry value, especially in high-grade, uncirculated or almost uncirculated condition. Due to their historical milestone, interestingly, the 1968 5 new pence coin is often found in pre-1971 decimal coin sets and school educational packs issued to help students and citizens get familiar with decimal money. These packs have become collectibles in their own right, often featuring colorful explanations of how to compare new pence to old pence or shillings. The coin also occasionally appears in jewelry or as a keepsake in commemorative mounts. Prized not for its metal content but for its vintage charm and role in modern British history. By the late 1980s, the larger original-sized 5 new pence coins like the 1968 issue were seen as too bulky for modern use. In 1990, the Royal Mint introduced a smaller, lighter 5p coin, and the older large versions were eventually demonetized in 1990, meaning they were no longer legal tender. However, their legacy endures, both in coin collections and in the collective memory of millions who handled them during the transformative period of DECIMALISATION. In conclusion, the Elizabeth II DG Reg FD5 New Pence 1968 coin is a significant emblem of transformation, monarchy, and identity within British numismatic history. It represents the very beginning of decimal currency in the UK, and serves as a tangible connection between the old world and a new monetary order. Its design is steeped in symbolism, the Queen's youth and grace, the historic thistle of Scotland, the inscription of Latin authority, and the coin's faithful resemblance to the trusted shilling. All these aspects together offer a rich, multi-layered story. Whether one views the coin as a historical object, a piece of royal art, a monetary tool, or a collector's item, the 1968 5 new pence coin carries with it a legacy of change, tradition, and national pride.
The Elizabeth II DG Reg FD5 New Pence 1990 coin represents a fascinating chapter in the numismatic history of the United Kingdom, falling within the period when the nation was gradually redefining its decimal coinage system, a monumental transition that had begun in the late 1960s and early 1970s. This particular coin, issued in 1990, belongs to a category that holds both historical and collectible value because it was part of the last year. The denomination was legally recognized as new pence before the denomination transitioned permanently to just 5 pence. The coin bears the legend Elizabeth II DG Reg FD. On the obverse, which is an abbreviated Latin inscription meaning Elizabeth II de Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor, translating to Elizabeth II by the grace of God, Queen Defender of the Faith, a time-honored titulature that has graced British coinage for centuries. Linking the monarch's temporal authority with a spiritual endorsement, the obverse of the 1995 new pence coin features the elegant third definitive coinage portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by the talented Raphael Maclouf, a distinguished British sculptor of Jewish Rushan descent whose effigy graced UK coins from 1985 to 1997. In this portrait, Queen Elizabeth II is depicted wearing the George IV state diadem, a jeweled crown created for King George IV in 1820 and traditionally worn by queens regnant during the state opening of Parliament. The diadem, resplendent with over 1,333 diamonds and 169 pearls, is an emblem of the enduring continuity of British monarchy and craftsmanship. Maclouf's effigy of the Queen was notable for its idealized, almost ethereal presentation of Her Majesty. portraying her with a serene expression and softly styled hair, conveying a sense of regal dignity and timeless beauty. Turning to the reverse side, the 1995 new pence coin showcases a refined and classic design created by Christopher Ironside, a respected British coin designer and engraver whose designs were integral to the decimalization of British currency. The reverse features the badge of Scotland, which consists of a crowned Scottish thistle, an ancient symbol of resilience and unity in Scottish heraldry, encircled by the royal crown of the United Kingdom. The thistle's inclusion not only celebrates Scotland's integral role within the United Kingdom, it also reflects the rich tapestry of heraldic traditions that the British Isles embody. Below the central motif appears the denomination 5, and the surrounding legend reads, "New Pence," in crisp, bold capital letters, anchoring the coin's identity within the decimal monetary system that had begun in 1971. The coin's specifications further add to its numismatic intrigue. Minted in copper-nickel alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. The 5 new pence coin struck in 1990 has a weight of 3.25 grams, a diameter of 18.00 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.7 millimeters, aligning with the smaller, reduced size. 5 pence coins introduced in 1990, a significant year in the history of British coinage. The reduction in size from the original larger 5 pence coins, which shared dimensions with the earlier shillings, is undertaken to enhance practicality, reduce production costs, and modernize the nation's coinage system. The 1995 new pence coin was the first year of the reduced size issue for circulation, marking a pivotal moment as the United Kingdom adapted to contemporary economic needs while preserving heraldic and royal traditions. The edge of the S5 new pence coin carries a finely milled or reeded finish, a subtle but significant feature common to many British coins of the era. Designed originally as a deterrent against clipping and counterfeiting in earlier centuries, though no longer a pressing security concern in modern times, the reeded edge persists as a nod to numismatic history and as a tactile identifier for visually impaired individuals handling currency. In terms of mintage, to the 1995 new pence coin was produced in significant quantities for general circulation, as it was part of a widespread national rollout replacing the older, larger coins. While precise mintage figures for 1990 are substantial, they reflect the practical need for a ready supply of the new, smaller denominations within Britain's economic infrastructure. Additionally, proof and mint set versions of the 1995 new pence were also produced, intended for collectors and presented in polished mirror-like finishes with enhanced detailing, catering to numismatists who valued not just the monetary, but the artistic and historical merit of contemporary British coinage. From a numismatic perspective, the 1990 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin holds a particular appeal for collectors due to its status as the first year of issue in the reduced size format, and the last to bear the new pence legend before it was changed to 5 pence in 1992. As such, it occupies a transitional position within the timeline of British decimal coinage, bridging the gap between the initial decimalization era and the modernized, streamlined designs of the late 20th century. For dedicated collectors, acquiring examples in various conditions, from circulated to uncirculated, to proof sets, offers an opportunity to trace the evolution of British currency through tangible metal artifacts. The broader historical context of the 1995 new pence coin also reflects the United Kingdom's ongoing negotiation with tradition and modernity. While decimalization had originally been proposed as far back as the 19th century, it wasn't until the 15th of February 1971 decimal day that the system was officially adopted, placing the complex pounds, shillings, and pence structure that had characterized British currency for centuries. The transition was not merely a fiscal reform, but a cultural shift, requiring public education campaigns, new coin designs, and adjustments across commerce and banking. The 5 new pence coin introduced in 1990 thus symbolizes not just a unit of monetary value, but a milestone in the UK's continued modernization during the late 20th century. balanced carefully against its deep-rooted royal and heraldic heritage. Over time, the 1995 new pence coin has become a cherished collectible, not for its intrinsic metal value being a base metal coin, but for its historical significance and its encapsulation of a specific moment in the evolution of British currency. Collectors prize it as part of comprehensive decimal coinage collections, and it often features in thematic assemblies, highlighting the reign of Queen Elizabeth. 2. The decimalization period, or the artistry of Raphael Makloff and Christopher Ironside. Even in circulated condition, the coin's durable copper-nickel composition ensures that examples remain relatively well-preserved decades after issue, retaining legible legends and discernible designs. In conclusion, the Elizabeth II DG REGFD5 New Pence 1990 coin is much more than a minor denomination in Britain's vast numismatic catalogue. It is a coin that tells a story of monarchy and modernity, of design and denomination, of history and heritage. It represents the craftsmanship of notable artists, the strategic reforms of a nation's currency system, and the enduring symbolism of thistles, crowns, and diadems. Whether held in the hand as a remnant of daily commerce, enshrined in a collector's album, or studied as an artifact of monetary history, the 1995 new pence coin endures as a small yet meaningful chapter in the narrative of British numismatics and the storied reign of Queen Elizabeth II,